Earth has witnessed countless tragedies over its 4.5 billion year lifetime. Meteors, volcanic winters, shifting continents, and violent climate swings. But among all these catastrophes, one event stands apart as the most enigmatic, the most puzzling, and arguably the most terrifying. An extinction event so mysterious that scientists still struggle to explain it. This is the story of a moment in time when nearly everything alive vanished, and no one can fully agree on how it happened. To explore this event, we must travel far deeper into Earth's history than the age of dinosaurs, mammals, or even the first forests. We must return to a world alien to anything familiar, a world where life was fragile, ecosystems were primitive, and one unseen disaster changed the direction of evolution forever. This event is known as the Late Devonian Extinction, a crisis so prolonged and so difficult to decode that some scientists refer to it as the extinction with no clear killer. Unlike the asteroid that ended the age of the dinosaurs or the massive volcanic eruptions linked to the Permian extinction, the Late Devonian die-off leaves behind more questions than answers. It is a puzzle with missing pieces, scattered clues, and contradictory evidence, yet its impact still shaped the world we live in today. A planet on the edge. The Devonian period, often called the Age of Fishes, was a time of extraordinary change. The oceans teemed with life. Giant armored placoderms, early sharks, and bizarre jawless fish dominated underwater ecosystems. Coral reefs flourished across the continents, some stretching for hundreds of kilometers. Plants began to conquer land, creating the world's first forests. Life was expanding, experimenting, and pushing into new forms. But this explosion of biodiversity came with instability. Rapid evolutionary change can destabilize ecosystems, and the Devonian world was becoming increasingly complex and delicate. When the extinction began, it struck hardest in the oceans, wiping out nearly 75% of marine species. Coral reefs collapsed, dominant fish vanished, entire ecosystems unraveled. What could cause such targeted destruction? A massive asteroid? A sudden climate crash? Something far stranger? Scientists have found evidence for many possibilities, but none explains the full picture. One of the most intriguing theories is that early land plants, new, revolutionary, and rapidly colonizing the continents, may have accidentally triggered the extinction. As plants spread, their roots broke down rock and released nutrients into rivers. These nutrients flowed into the oceans, fueling massive algal blooms. The algae consumed oxygen as they decayed, triggering wide-scale anoxic events, periods where the oceans ran low on oxygen. Imagine an entire ocean turning into a suffocating, stagnant soup. Fish would die first. Coral reefs would bleach and collapse. Slow-moving bottom creatures would suffocate. This theory explains the oxygen loss found in Devonian rocks, but it doesn't fully explain the sudden crash in biodiversity or the multiple waves of extinction spread over millions of years. Still, the idea that plants, symbols of life, might have unintentionally caused death on a planetary scale adds a haunting twist to this mystery. Among the most dramatic theories is the possibility that a dying star exploded near Earth during the Devonian period. A supernova this close would bathe the planet with deadly radiation, shredding the ozone layer and exposing life to intense ultraviolet light. This would devastate shallow water ecosystems, which is exactly where the extinction hit hardest. Evidence? Scientists have discovered chemical signatures in Devonian rocks that resemble the isotopes produced by cosmic explosions. However, the data is limited and controversial. A supernova could be responsible for one wave of extinction, but the late Devonian crisis had several. Still, the idea that death rained down from the cosmos remains one of the chilling possibilities. Theory 3. A volcanic winter. Volcanic activity is a suspect in nearly every major extinction event, but the Devonian case is uncertain. There is evidence of volcanic eruptions during this time, ash layers, mineral changes, and pulse-like cooling events. But there is no single enormous volcanic province like the Siberian Traps or the Deccan Traps. Instead, scientists theorize that sustained volcanic activity over millions of years may have destabilized the climate. Repeated cooling events, ocean acidification, and toxic metal releases could have slowly pushed marine ecosystems to the brink. But again, this theory alone can't explain the complexity of the extinction. Climate data suggests that the late Devonian experienced dramatic swings between cooling and warming. Glaciers advanced and retreated. Sea levels rose and fell rapidly, drowning ecosystems one decade and exposing them the next. Imagine living organisms trying to adapt to a climate that changed too quickly, too frequently, and too violently. Coral reefs, which require stable conditions, had no chance. Large fish species collapsed as food chains fractured. Was the culprit climate instability? Possibly, but what caused the instability remains unclear. The real mystery. The late Devonian extinction was not one event, but a series of disasters stretching over 20 million years. Each wave destroyed different species in different ecosystems. No single cause, asteroids, volcanoes, plants, or climate, fully explains the pattern. This is why the extinction remains one of the most mysterious in Earth's history. Scientists now believe the truth may lie in a deadly combination: volcanic activity, climate swings, plant evolution, and perhaps even cosmic radiation, all interacting in unpredictable ways. It wasn't one killer, it was many. And as the extinction unfolded, Earth entered a dark age, an era where oceans emptied, reefs crumbled, and entire branches of evolution vanished forever. But the story doesn't end here.